Each year is a different pulse, it's a different heartbeat.
The pulse, as the regular season winds down, is that it's finally time for the playoffs. Maryland and Virginia public schools starting their postseason while private schools already awarding champions.
We tell the kids the off-season is what gets them here.
A huge baseball matchup in Maryland, plus we'll break down the baseball playoffs in Virginia. And our athlete of the week almost had a hat trick. No tricks here, as another edition of High School Sports Final, and it's next.
From News Channel 8, this is High School Sports Final.
Hello and thanks for joining us for High School Sports Final. I'm your host, Robert Burton. Lots of scores and highlights to get to, no time to waste, so let's get right to it. It's playoff time. St. Stephen's St. Agnes boys lacrosse, a team with a couple of postseason tournaments, taking on.
Each year is a different pulse, it's a different heartbeat.
The pulse, as the regular season winds down, is that it's finally time for the playoffs. Maryland and Virginia public schools starting their postseason while private schools already awarding champions.
We tell the kids the off-season is what gets them here.
A huge baseball matchup in Maryland, plus we'll break down the baseball playoffs in Virginia. And our athlete of the week almost had a hat trick. No tricks here, as another edition of High School Sports Final, and it's next.
From News Channel 8, this is High School Sports Final.
Hello and thanks for joining us for High School Sports Final. I'm your host, Robert Burton. Lots of scores and highlights to get to, no time to waste, so let's get right to it. It's playoff time. St. Stephen's St. Agnes boys lacrosse, a team with a couple of postseason tournaments, taking on St. Annis Belfield in the Virginia Independent School playoffs. All right, the Saints taking on the Saints. Matthew Fisher. Check him out. Gets the pass and fires, but his shot sails right about the crossbar. So close. But try again. The ball finds Fisher again, and this shot goes in. How about that? That's yourself off. St. Stephen's St. Agnes trying to generate some offense, though, moving the ball around here. Andrew Wiseman is therefore he's a great goal scorer, and he scores a great goal. But Eric Bill makes the save. How about that? Great effort here for moving through the zone, beating a couple of defenders. Javon Johnson shoots and scores. St. Anne's Belfield moves on, beating St. Stephen's St. Agnes, the final 9-5. Senior day in Annandale, and the Adams taking on Lake Braddock. Check out the D right here. It's coming up, I promise you. Sean Courtney to Evan Eichenberg, who pops it up. Check out the catch right there. All right, next up, Wade Strain. He's going to go to Jarrett Leftbaum. It's the grounder to short. Nick Neville scoops it and fires to first for the out. Nick showing off the arm right there. Sean Courtney trying to generate some offense, but Colin Bretschwald is right there to catch the fly ball. Annandale sneaks by Lake Braddock. The final for this one, 4-2. Christian Leckert on the mound for Fairfax taking on McLean, and Connor Grams pulls one in the hole right there. How about that? Let's go to the next inning. Highlanders pitcher Will Liverpool to Victor Danieletto, who singles to center field. Nice one right there, but then the defense would take over eventually. Tommy Bradley with the swinging bunt, sort of. Billy Gerhardt calmly picks it up and gets the out right at first. Easy money. How about this play? James Elliott with the smack to the gap, but C.J. Downey reaches up to make the catch right there. Another fine defensive gem. Check it out right here. It's coming. This will be Christian Leckert. He smacks one to third, but a great play to step on the bag and the throw to first for the out. McLean wins this one, the final 6-4. WCAC Girls Lacrosse Championship, Good Counsel taking on Holy Cross, and just look at number 22 on this play. Taylor McDaniels moves, finds the opening, gets the pass, takes the shot while falling down and scores. How about great effort? Another good effort by Caitlin Gunn. What a name. She spins and scores. And Good Counsel, they hang on for a 9-8 win and a WCAC championship, their third title in 6 years. It's now time where we shine the spotlight on one of our area's best and brightest stars. It's our Athlete of the Week, brought to you by our friends at iTility. Our athlete this week has 65 goals this season and 13 assists. She is Robinson's equivalent to Alexander Ovechkin. Wow. Izzy Obregon was in overtime in the Rams season finale against undefeated Centerville. Well, how about this line? Izzy had a hat trick in the first 5 minutes and ended up with 8 goals and led Robinson to the Virginia Conference 5 regular season title in a 25-20 win over the Wildcats. Izzy has been a scoring machine throughout her entire career with 215 career goals and 99 assists, all of which she is taking to Maryland next year. So congrats to Izzy Obregon, our iTility Athlete of the Week. Lots of games to get to, and we're just getting started here on High School Sports Final. Up next, our game of the night, a big matchup in Maryland on the Diamond. Plus, we'll break down the baseball playoffs in Virginia with Nick Eilerson of the Fairfax Times. And don't forget, for the latest scores and highlights of featured games, you can also log on to hssportsfinal.com. Well, all you hear about in baseball in Montgomery County is Gaithersburg. The Trojans have a wealth of talent, including Trey Martinez and Anthony Filiti and Nick Pantos. But Quince Orchard has been right there with Gaithersburg all season and features stars of their own, including Jack Ropalewski. And that gets us to our game of the night, the Maryland 4A regional semifinal.
Well.
All right, well, the Trojans ready for Quince Orchard. Ryan Kristoff off the Brendan Dale pitch, grounds to third. Grant McSell throws to first, looks high, but Bradley Sawyer snags it and reached down just in time to get the out. Kyle Che got rocked. A runner on third, and Grant McSell flies this to left field. Nick Moon makes a great catch. However, Zach DiCarlo tags up and scores for Gaithersburg. Aaron Vargas gets into the action, this ball into the gap and all the way to the wall. Nick Pantos comes around to score. Trojans up 3-0 after that. Later, a runner on third. Check out Corey Scholl. Flies this pitch to center field. Nathan Kessler makes the catch, the throw to home. There's going to be a play at the plate, but the relay gets away from Brian Edo, and Zach Vargas touches home plate. Here's a nice play. How about the comebacker? Hits Deo right in the leg, but he collects himself and picks up the ball, throws it to first for the out, and Quince Orchard is out. Gaithersburg wins 8-1 and advances to the regional final against Blair. Paul VI and Gonzaga, the WCAC lacrosse title game. Paul Wiles on the run, shoots low and scores. The Paul fans like that, I would assume. Back come the Eagles, though. Look at Richie Pettibone. That's a big man. Last athletic event in his high school career before heading off to Alabama. He's just too big. Finds Timmy Monahan for the goal. Gonzaga wins their 5th consecutive WCAC lacrosse title, beating Paul VI. The final for that one, 12-5. All right, to softball, the Virginia playoffs getting underway this weekend. Lake Braddock looking strong all season with a couple more games before starting off their postseason, taking on Annandale. Annandale looking for an upset right here, taking on third-ranked team in the area, Lake Braddock. Take a look at the Adams defense. The grounder looks like it'll get through, but the great play to steal a hit away from Siobhan Boudouin. But the Bruins can put up runs in a hurry. Catherine Plesko with the hit up the middle, and a Crabble is chucking around third and trying to score. Here comes the throw home, and Crabille is safe. All right, so the Adams would get lucky and get out of the inning, but Lake Braddock put the bat on the ball. That's what you usually do in softball. And they win this game, the final 24-0. Emma Olsen and Fairfax taking on McLean, and the fly ball to left. Trust me, it's coming. Just watch. Just give it a second. There we go. There we go. There's the fly ball. And then Martini with the catch. How about that? Okay, Sabrina Sanchez. She's on the bump for McLean and Taylor. Estabrook takes one down the right field line. Sarah Anthony motoring around second. And we'll get to third. Safe. Julia Longo with the hit down the left field line for McLean, but Jordan Martini gets to the ball quickly to keep Longo to a single. McLean wins this one, the final 14-4. More to come on high school sports final, scanning the area and the highlights from the show, keeping tabs on the best plays. We'll have our plays of the week later, and we'll take a look at the teams to watch in Virginia's baseball postseason. And you have the chance to show us who has the most energetic and spirited high school. Log on to WJLA.com/spirit and tell us why you think your school is the best.
News Channel 8.
Okay, 6th-ranked St. John's against DeMatha, third and deciding WCAC Championship Series. A.J. Lee is a stud for the Cadets. With this hit, Alex Taylor using those legs comes around to score. Then Lee on the mound, striking out Brad Thaxton. St. John's goes back-to-back, winning the WCAC title, winning this one 12-1. Welcome back to High School Sports Final. Last week we had Eleanor Roosevelt coach Delton Fuller on the show as he celebrated a county softball championship. He's also the Raiders girls basketball coach. Well, this week Coach Fuller was dealt a huge blow. His superstar junior, Kayla Charles, is transferring to Riverdale Baptist. The past 2 seasons, Charles has led Roosevelt to the Maryland State Championships. It was a good week for Charles as she also revealed where she plans to play her college basketball. She'll stay close to home and play for Brenda Freeze at the University of Maryland. Charles says that she is finally relieved to have that weight off of her shoulders. In addition to Charles, the Crusaders will also add Morgan Smith, who played last season at McNamara. Still more as we wrap up this edition of High School Sports Final. Dingers, K's, diving catches, diving stops, goals, and blocks. This edition of Plays of the Week is right after the break. All right, to the pitch, Fairfax and Arlington to face Wakefield. Check out Matthew Carballo. Gets a pass, shoots, but his shot is a little too high. The goalie makes sure of that, too. Later, Fairfax would get a penalty kick. Check out Tim Sabine. Goes low left, and the Rebels go on to win this one, the final 2-1. Remember, you can go to our Facebook page at High School Sports Final to select your choice for the play of the week. And here's a nice play. The comebacker hits Brendan Deo in the leg, but he collects himself and picks up the ball and throws to first for the out, and Quince Orchard is out. Gaithersburg wins this one, the final 8-1. Just look at number 22 on this play. Taylor McDaniel moves, finds the opening, gets the pass, takes the shot while falling down and scores. Great effort right there. And then how about this? To New Jersey, St. Augustine Prep. School baseball, Justin Skinner makes a nice diving catch in center field. That's a nice catch by the Skin. That's not really his name. Okay, well, you've already seen some playoff action in Maryland. Across the river in Virginia, their playoffs are about to get underway. Oakton, Madison, Lake Braddock. Which one of our local teams will make it in the state tournament? Well, we have one of my great friends here. Nick Eilerson is here to talk a little postseason baseball.
Absolutely.
I guess you can start off with some teams that we need to check out for.
Yeah, man. So you got Chantilly in Conference 5, defending state finalists, having a great year. They're one of the hottest teams in the area this year. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. Being in Conference 5, it's a tough conference this year, but they've really stepped up and defended what was a really good year last year. So they've played very well. They swept Oakton, had a really solid regular season there towards the end. Matt Hogel's playing really well, the conference pitcher of the year, along with Connor Jones from Oakton. Speaking of which, Oakton's having a phenomenal year as well. Definitely got to watch out for those guys. You got, like I said, Connor Jones, pitcher there, co-pitcher of the year in that conference. He's got a .62 ERA. He's thrown 30 strikeouts to just 3 walks in about a 20-game span, so he's playing very well right now. Down in Conference 6, you got McLean, another very hot team going into the postseason. They've won 8 of their last 9 as well, as it happens. And this year, they've got a lot of good players from the team they had last year, which went all the way to the state semifinals. So that should be another one to watch out for. Madison seeking their first region title since 2003, so that's always a team to look out for. They haven't played particularly well this year, at least to their standard, but you got to watch out for those guys going to the postseason. So those are just a few teams to watch out for right now.
Out of those teams, would you say there's a dark horse that can kind of sneak out of nowhere, or? There
are several dark horses. You got so many teams in Northern Virginia. Herndon, out of Conference 5, is having a great year. Not a team you always look out for, but they're actually seeded 3rd in Conference 5. Like I said, a very difficult conference, so a good achievement from them. They actually beat Chantilly. They beat Centerville. Look out for Antonio Menendez, the sophomore pitcher. Right-hander, has a nice sidearm motion from the mound this year. He's playing very well. First team all-conference there. So Herndon's one to look out for. Look out for Greg Miller's boys. And also, you've got Annandale in Conference 7. They performed very well with Sean Courtney at the mound. I saw him beat Lake Braddock a couple nights ago. Just another team that's having a historic season. They had losing seasons each year in the past 6-7 years, but this year they're playing very well. Beat a good Lake Braddock team. Marshall with Mitch Blackstone, good Cornell commit. The kid can absolutely hammer the ball. He's a beast. He's a senior this year. He's been on varsity since freshman year. Just a man-child at the plate. So look out for Marshall. And Fairfax has 3 Division I arms. They're always a team to look out for in Conference 6. And George Mason actually is playing very well. One of the 2A schools. They play against some smaller schools. You don't always look out for them. They don't play against the big boys, but I mean, George Mason High they've won 16 games, only lost 2 this year. So they're having a historic season and can't disrespect those guys. They play as well as the big schools. So,
are there a few players that could make a name for themselves in this postseason? Anyone you've been watching in particular that you might see, hey, this guy's going to be something?
Yeah, I mean, like I said last time I was on, Joe Rizzo for Oakton. He's a junior shortstop. He's having a killer year. He's a South Carolina commit, and he's just got he's got like a 6.49 batting average. He's
SEC baseball.
Yeah, he's a big time recruit. Had 5 homers this year. Can just pound the ball. He's got 23 RBI in like a 19-game stretch. So he's always one to look out for. He was the conference player of the year in Conference 5. Conference, you got Mitch Blackstone, like I said. You've got Caleb Beatty, one of the best hitters in the region for McLean. You've got Tyler Solomon over in Battlefield, over in Prince William County. Battlefield and Patriot are actually playing tomorrow. They had to add another game to their schedule to determine the #1 team in that conference. And whoever wins that conference, it's a little unusual, they actually get an automatic #1 seed in the region.
Wow.
So that's a big game to look out for, the regular season finale tomorrow night between Battlefield and Patriot. But then you've got, like I said, Tyler Solomon. He's a Vanderbilt commit. He actually committed as a 15-year-old. He's only a sophomore.
What?
And he's like 6'4", 220. Just, Vanderbilt won the College World Series last year, so he's an absolute monster.
Wow.
Those are some players, I'd say.
So it's just a hotbed of talent.
It really is. Yeah,
I mean, have you seen a better year of talent, or is this as good as it gets?
It's about as good as it gets. Yeah. I've only been in the area for a few years, but each year you never let down. I mean, there's about 20, 25 teams. They're pretty good in Fairfax County, and Prince William, not to mention, has, like I said, Battlefield, Patriot.
Yeah.
You've got Loudoun Valley having a phenomenal year as well. They've only lost 2 games, so just a plethora of teams out there that can really take it to you.
And finally, I don't know if you can do this, but if you had a team that might take it all this year, what would that team be? Can you even answer that question, Nick?
It's tough to answer because baseball is such a weird sport, especially in high school. It's kind of one of those things where you got to get hot at the end. I think in high school baseball, the formula that everyone talks about is you sort of have to feel things out with your team in March. You got to get consistent in April, and you got to get hot in May. So you got to look out for those teams that are really playing well. Like I said, McLean, Chantilly, those are the teams that are playing really, really well right now. So the teams with momentum are the ones that tend to play well. For example, McLean lost 7 of 8 games at one point last year, was a 7th seed in an 8-team conference tournament, ended up going to the conference championship, the region championship, the state semifinals. So historic, their best season in 60 years. So it just shows if you get hot, you can go far at the end. So.
All right, well, let everybody know your Twitter name, because I follow Nick on Twitter, by the way. He's got all the info. You heard him right here.
You heard him, Fairfax Nick. He's all over the place.
That's it, man. All right, thanks, Nick, for being on the show. Love having you. All right, that's all for this edition of High School Sports Final. Don't forget you can catch every single highlight and story that you saw tonight on our webpage, hssportsfinal.com, plus updates on games during the week. And like us on our Facebook and vote for your Player of the Week. For all the cast and crew behind the scenes, bringing you all the highlights of the games, I'm Robert Burton. I'll see you again next week.